Even though filmmaking is a collaborative effort, it's the actors who become the public face of the final product, which can be great when the movie is a hit and humiliating when it's not. While most actors take the occasional negative review in stride, these stars think they just made the next Citizen Kane. The Rock. With a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes, Baywatch clearly didn't win critics over with its comedic take on the classic TV show. Detroit News critic Adam Graham wrote, "So what you've got is some basic R-rated humor, a few funnies, some tan, toned bodies, and a half-baked plot. Nothing more, but maybe a little less. It's Baywatch. What did you expect?" But Anthony Lane of The New Yorker praised The Rock, saying, "Thank heaven for Dwayne Johnson, who saves the life of the movie. Whether it deserves to be saved is another matter." But Johnson wasn't feeling that low Rotten Tomatoes score. He tweeted, "Fans love the movie. Critics hate it. What a glaring disconnect." Maybe it was all hype, but it seems like The Rock takes his 90s remakes a little too seriously. Ben Affleck. Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice was supposed to be the event of 2016. It would be the first time the two characters appeared in the same film, and it would set the stage for a movie version of the Justice League to compete with Marvel's The Avengers. But despite a massive marketing campaign, it bombed. The Atlantic's Christopher Orr wrote, "Batman vs. Superman is a tiresome, ill-tempered film, and one too lazy even to earn its dismal outlook." And the Washington Post said the movie showed protagonists who grimace, scowl, and wince their way through heroics with the joyless determination of shift workers making the donuts. Affleck later blamed audiences for not understanding the film's tone when he sat down with Fox 5 DC.
People seem to want to have a lighter tone to the movie. The tone isn't like a qualitative thing; it's subjective, right? Some tones resonate with me and might not with you.
Affleck, we feel you. Megan Fox. Despite producer Michael Bay's success with Transformers, the 2014 live-action reboot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles bit it hard. It currently sits on Rotten Tomatoes with a 22% after critics found the movie way too similar to Bay's previous works, and for all of the wrong reasons. Critic Christy Lemire wrote, "It's essentially a Transformers movie, complete with mass destruction, urban panic, white-hot lighting, inane quips, product placement, explosions, and, well, Megan Fox." And Amy Nicholson of LA Weekly shot, "If you thought Michael Bay had forgiven Megan Fox for saying he was like Hitler, this new April O'Neil role is proof he hasn't." As the non-CGI face of Turtles, Fox didn't weather the criticism well. According to Cinema Blend, during a press conference, she fired off on audiences.
"Those people can complain, they all go to the theater, they all see his movies, they're gonna love it, and if they don't love it, they can f*** off, and that's the end." That'll make sense to you when you see the movie.
Vin Diesel. In 2004, Vin Diesel starred in The Chronicles of Riddick, a spin-off of the sci-fi flick Pitch Black. But despite Diesel's fan-approved character, The Chronicles of Riddick failed at the box office and with critics, earning just 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Washington Post wrote what everyone was thinking, saying, "The muddy, convoluted story revolves around the star's cool guy poses and one-liners." In an interview with Collider, Diesel hyped his film, saying, "You hear a lot of directors talk about how they build worlds, but this is the real deal and you can tell." Diesel was so confident in the film that he had waited 9 years to work with director David Twohy again, saying, "If you ever fell prey to a studio's idea of interchanging a director for something like that, you would lose so much by not having somebody in that chair with a huge ego about the property." Diesel knows he's not talking about The Godfather, right? Will Smith and Cara Delevingne. After the Batman vs. Superman bomb, Warner Brothers needed a hit for the DC Extended Universe. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the studio authorized an alternative cut of Suicide Squad, edited by the team behind the trailers instead of director David Ayer, which became the version that hit theaters. The plan didn't work. Suicide Squad released in August 2016 to bad reviews. Colin Covert of the Star Tribune wrote, "This is what happens when the comic book fanboys have taken over the asylum. It is damaged goods from the get-go, the kind of film grown in a petri dish in Hollywood." But while talking to Reuters, stars Will Smith and Cara Delevingne were quick to dismiss the critics as haters. Smith said, "I think people had expectations that may have been different, but I'm excited for the fans to get to vote." Delevingne added, "The critics have been absolutely horrific. They're really, really horrible. I just don't think they like superhero movies." However, that same year, Captain America: Civil War earned a 90% fresh rating along with Doctor Strange, with Deadpool coming in at 84%. Maybe the problem isn't the critics, guys. Matt Damon. Before The Great Wall opened in February 2017, star Matt Damon had been battling accusations of whitewashing for his part in the Chinese fantasy epic. But the movie had another problem. It stunk. With a Rotten Tomatoes score of 35%, critics weren't exactly blown away. Rolling Stone's Peter Travers wrote, "What a bummer that all Chinese Master Zhang Yimou and Hollywood star Matt Damon come up with as a B-level creature feature with delusions of grandeur." However, Damon blamed the lack of critical appeal on the whitewashing controversy, telling ABC News, "I think people maybe thought it was something about building the Great Wall or something having to do with actual Chinese history. It's this crazy monster movie. It's 1100 AD, but there are monsters. I guess kinda like Game of Thrones." You know nothing, Jon Snow, Matt. Russell Crowe. In 2007, Russell Crowe and director Ridley Scott latched onto a script Variety called, quote, "a revisionist take on the Robin Hood tale with Nottingham as a noble and brave lawman." It would later be rewritten into a Robin Hood origin story with Crowe playing the legendary archer instead of the Sheriff of Nottingham. After Robin Hood landed in theaters in 2010, the Rotten Tomatoes were stewing at 43%. The Miami Herald wrote, "Robin Hood achieves something you never would have thought possible. It makes you nostalgic for Kevin Costner and Bryan Adams." Crowe also took some heat for his accent. During a BBC interview, Crowe was asked if he was going for an Irish accent. He fired back,
"You've got dead ears, mate. You seriously got dead ears if you think that's an Irish accent." "No, I was going for an Italian." "Yeah, missed it."
Crowe then stormed out and never came back. Halle Berry. When Rotten Tomatoes' 9%er Catwoman hit theaters in 2004, the Halle Berry adaptation of the DC Comics character was such a disaster that, according to IndieWire, it frightened Hollywood executives from taking a chance on any female-led superhero films until 2017 smash hit Wonder Woman. The Orlando Sentinel called it arguably the worst superhero film ever made, and the New York Observer called it the kind of movie that almost guarantees the loss of a few IQ points. But Berry would tell the BBC, "I pushed myself and grew as an artist in ways that will never be realized by anyone but me." As critic Lou Luminick joked, "It's a perfectly ridiculous and boring catastrophe." Okay, we get it. It's show business. So maybe these stars signed expensive, convoluted contracts preventing them from admitting they just tanked it at the box office. But that doesn't make it any less amusing when they go down swinging over a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot. We all know it's that same larger-than-life personality that will make us line up to see what they're up to next. Thanks for watching. Click the Nikki Swift icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.